I had a really weird dream last night. I um
Yeah?
I dreamt that I had a story because we were going to record this. I dreamt that I had a story I really wanted to tell on the podcast. That I grew up, and on like the opposite side of the street to where I grew up, Bruce Willis lived there. Um, and I had like a whole dream about like wanting to tell this on the podcast, but I couldn't because apparently Bruce Willis's like the exact geospatial coordinates of his house are well known, and that would lead people to dox me and figure out where I lived when I was a kid. Um, and
That's
like I had this
that's
whole
an oddly
scenario where
specific
most of this
dream.
was dedicated to like watching Bruce Willis from across the street when I was a kid, and then later like in the present day I was sleeping, but I was dreaming that I was like laying awake in bed thinking about recording the episode the next day and not being able to tell the story about living across the street from Bruce Willis.
Wow. Well, I'm glad that you think about this podcast in your sleep.
To be clear, I did not live across the street from Bruce Willis growing up.
Okay,
Just to make sure that you know that.
just to make sure.
Yeah, there might have been some doubt in your mind, but yeah. How about you?
Um,
What did you dream about last night?
I don't fuck. You know what I dreamed about? I dreamed about hot, sexy vampires, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, it sure is. This was your
Um,
recommendation, so why don't you lead us
yeah, this
into
is
it?
this was my recommendation for this week, and so this week we watched a recent movie. It came out in 2025. This is whatever the author's name is, Dracula: A Love Tale. You don't really need to know who's in it
The
or
original
who.
author is Bram Stoker. The director's name is Luc Besson, which
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
thought I thought I had heard the name before, and I looked it up, and he made The Fifth Element and The Professional, which is the movie that allegedly he wanted the main character to be a pedophile, and the lead actor said no, and that's my main.
Wow,
That is my main knowledge of this guy, and yeah, he
cool.
is very French, and this is a very French film.
It is a well. That is because it is a French film. Just quite like cut and dry. It's a French film, and really the only meaningful actor that you need to know about from this movie is Christopher Waltz. Uh, he's in a lot of other movies. Great actor. I think he did Van Helsing pretty good.
He's
Um,
doing a
uh,
weird, fucked up and evil Van Helsing. Yeah.
yeah. Which honestly, Van Helsing is a very fluid character. There's no one
Yeah,
way
yeah,
with
yeah,
Van
yeah.
Helsing. Um, I I like this movie. Maybe I just have a I think, and it's because of a couple of reasons. I have a soft spot for vampires,
You've
and I have a
mentioned.
soft spot for sloppy romance. If
You've
the
also
sloppier, the
mentioned.
better. And I mean sloppy in the physical sense and the emotional sense. So this movie kind of catered to both of those. However, I think I want to take this discussion in two kind of avenues, because when I
Okay.
when I recommended this movie, it was just kind of a movie that I liked, that I kind of threw off the dome, that I thought might give us some stuff to talk about. But watching it again earlier today, I think there are actually some stuff in this movie that I want to talk about, that I think will lead into like an actually interesting discussion. And the two parts of it are, like, I think we should start off with what we usually do, which is we should talk about this as a film, and what we thought about it as a film, and what it is as a film.
Okay.
But then I'd like to talk about it as a vampire medium, because
Okay.
there's so many different like every time somebody does vampires, they do them a little differently, even though they're all really the same. And I think this movie takes a couple more but it takes a couple very classical approaches to vampires, but also takes a couple like newer ideas, and introduces them into what vampires are and what they can do, and all that. And by the end of that portion of the discussion, I think we should power scale this Dracula against other Draculas.
I need to find the link, but there was a page on Wikipedia, and it was like list of fictional vampires and their powers as like a comparison. and it was
Yeah.
deleted because the Wikipedia editors have no sense of fun, and it was deleted for not being
Oh.
relevant or something like that. But somebody archived it. It's on archive.org somewhere, and I'm going to try and find that real quick so that we can. Obviously, it was deleted before this movie came out, but I just want to have that as a reference on hand. Um,
Yeah.
so you mentioned that you like sloppy romance dramas. Have you seen any other movies from this director before?
I think I've seen The Fifth Element. Big fan of The
Yeah,
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element is I didn't mind the Fifth Element. I think that he does not do. He's not normally this sloppy. He's not slopping this hard most of the time. From the other two movies I've seen of his. But man, I did not really like this movie. I'm gonna be honest with you. So why don't
I
we?
had a feeling you wouldn't.
Yeah, let's be combative here on the Neo-Isomorphism podcast. Let's one of us is gonna turn heel. We're gonna face off. It's gonna be big, brother against brother, whatever. Let's debate this movie. So why don't you start with what you liked specifically about this, beyond the fact that it was sloppy and there was freaky nasty sex throughout, really.
I mean I like so I'm for those of our viewers that are unfamiliar with the original story of Dracula and kind of what it is. Dracula, the original kind of like novel that encompassed that like kind of brought the idea of Dracula and vampires into the modern scene was in the early 20th century, and it was basically just a collection of like fictional um like not they weren't like news or they were like journal entries.
Epistolary fiction, it's
Yeah,
called.
epistolary fiction. They were like it was like a list of Jonathan Harker's journal entries, um, and such. And so the original story was, I think, like Dracula was this old ass dude, and he was immortal because I don't remember what the actual original reason for Dracula's vampirism was, but he goes to London. He buys a house in London. He goes to London. He meets Jonathan Harker. He falls in love with his wife. Um, and then bada bing, bada boom. Dracula like does some stuff, kills a bunch of people, eats a bunch of people. And I don't actually know how the original one ends, but it usually ends with Dracula dying.
Yeah.
Um,
So the cast in the original is a little bit different from this one. They shuffle some names around, but there's a couple, and they combine a few characters. But Jonathan Harker he's a solicitor. He's like a lawyer basically. He's helping Dracula with his real estate purchase in London. Dracula is going to London because he wants to take over the world. Some bullshit. I don't know. And there's a couple of dudes. Abraham Van Helsing is like a doctor. Well, he's like a polymath dude. There's also a doctor, Dr. Seward. There is a bit about like a nobleman whose wife is turned by Dracula, and they have to fight her as like a mini boss before they get to Dracula himself. That is a bit, but the names are all different. In this one, it's Maria and Henry Spencer. In the original, it's Lucy and someone else. Anyway, and basically they just kind of go to Romania and they just sort of split up and have like a three-pronged or two-pronged showdown with Dracula. And he does end up dying at the end. And the moral of the story is just kind of, damn, that was fucked up. And there's been a lot of reinterpretations of it over the years. This is a movie that dares to ask the question, what if Dracula was sexy, which no one else has ever done before.
I do love sexy Dracula though.
I really I want to direct your attention to the Wikipedia article for this movie real quick, just because I love it when Wikipedia gets a little bit sassy. In the production tab, it says Besson said his fascination with the project was not sparked by the story of Dracula, but by the actor who played him. Blah 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 blah. It's a totally romantic approach, Besson says of his adaptation. There's a romantic side in Bram Stoker's book that hasn't been explored that much. It's a love story about a man who waits for 400 years for the reincarnation of his wife. That's the true heart of the story, waiting an eternity for the return of love. In fact, the love and reincarnation story is absent from Stoker's novel, where Dracula targets Mina in order to punish the men who opposed him. Luc Besson also admitted, I'm not a fan of horror films nor of Dracula.
Okay, that is a little wild.
Dracula, look,
Um,
I want to be very clear about this. When I am gonna talk shit about this movie, I'm not doing it from the perspective of, oh my god, they ruined Dracula. Dracula has been done so many times. This is not a
yeah,
story that anyone like. This is just part of the culture at this point. I'm not going to say, oh my god, I'm holding Dracula to be sacrosanct and he's ruining
yeah,
this.
no. I also don't think this movie is necessarily redefining Dracula in any way. It's not doing anything terribly like unique or specific with the story of Dracula specifically.
No,
But
there's no reason this
I
has to be Dracula versus
no,
like
but actually that's kind of a good point. I guess it really could have just been with the framing of it as a love story. A crazy dude goes to France
I mean,
and
well, Dracula is. I mean, there's two parts. If you want to have literally the same plot, it doesn't have to be Dracula. It could be another immortal guy, but Dracula is probably like the best, easiest avenue into this because people can buy into Dracula versus I'm writing my own, like Sando slot magic system for how this immortal guy is going to be working. But if you
yeah.
just want to look at a movie about a crazed stalker who tries to kidnap a woman, I think there are a lot of movies like that.
Jesus. I think what I like about this movie is seeing Dracula as a more so of as a like a tragedy as opposed to him normally just being like absolutely like an overpowering force.
Yeah,
Like
for
I don't know.
sure.
I like feeling bad for Dracula, and I think this movie does a good job at that because he has his Dracula ways of making people do his will and getting people to do whatever he wants, and that's because he's Dracula, and the movie provides justification to that, which we'll get into later. But Dracula is a master of charisma. He gets people to do what he wants. Um, and I had a particular appreciation during the film for how much he used that ability whenever he needed to,
You mean his roofie
except
perfume?
for yeah, his roofie perfume, except for when he was with Elizabetta. I think there was I thought I don't know, I thought that was it was a very obviously intentional choice and I appreciated it and I think it made it feel like Dracula did have a little bit of humanity left in him even if it was the suicidal stalker boyfriend kind of humanity.
Look, this dude might have gone around for, hundreds of years turning and a bunch of other people, but at least he didn't do it for the woman he loves.
Yeah,
What a stand-up guy, that Dracula.
peak,
I
you
really
know?
do like in the big scene where he uses the perfume to like in the scene where he's at like the French court at Versailles and he's like, oh my god, all these like hedonists and all this excess and whatever, and there's like the French nobles smearing food on each other's faces and fucking in the
Mhm.
courtroom. And like that's what they were doing. That's what Dracula and Elizabeth were doing in the opening scene of the movie, just like
Oh
smearing
yeah.
fucking pie or some shit on their faces and having
Oh yeah.
weird
No, it's
freaky sex.
exactly
And it's like,
they were it was the exact same.
yeah, there's a couple moments that I did like. I'm a big fan of the little gargoyles.
Oh,
Um,
those are yeah. Yeah.
gargoyles. I'm a big fan of like little goblin dudes. Um, I I did like the scene where they kill the other vampire that was turned Maria. She fucking Naruto runs at Helsing and he just hits her with the blicky, and then Harker comes in and cuts off her head, and then he just
Mhm.
it looks really like shocked. Jonathan Harker was just like really shocked after cutting off her head, and he just like carefully sort of puts it back in the
I
shelf where he
do
got
like
it
how
from,
he
the stand he
just
got it
puts
from.
it back.
That was good. Um, those are the only two good moments in the movie.
Wow. I do like I thought the for it was relatively few, but I thought the combat that was displayed in the movie was particularly well choreographed and I like that
Yes,
the majority of the combat that we did see was just Dracula fucking shit up.
I weirdly enough, just whenever they did the combat, I couldn't get out of my head Brandon Lee and the Crow, just because it's another like
Yeah, well, The
dude
Crow
with
is
long
also a
dark hair and
fantastic movie.
yeah, oh yeah, it's another like tortured emo dude with long dark hair and dark clothes, kind of fucking people
Yeah,
up. But
which is
that when they were
perfect.
doing the final scene where he was like going through and John Wicking everyone in the castle. That's for some reason I couldn't get that out of my head, which is a good thing, by the way. I don't think this
Yeah, that is not a bad. That's a good comparison to have made about you.
this movie. I don't think this movie was like incompetent or anything with regards to the filmmaking. Like all the like it was shot well. I liked the sets. Sets and costumes are. It's crazy to be complimenting a movie for having those nowadays. But
Oh
I
my
think it
god,
worked
yeah,
well.
the sets and costuming in this was great. Like all of the medieval scenes, the armor looked like it was actually well done,
I
which is something we talked about in the last episode.
I don't like the medieval armor very much just because like the massive pauldrons and like the dragon helmet and all that stuff. It looks like a fucking Warhammer Fantasy, like World of
Okay, sure.
Warcraft.
It's
Like
there we can get into the chronological issues and the chronology issues of this movie later because there is a lot. But I thought the armor looked sick.
it.
That's
Yeah,
really all I was trying to get.
I guess I've seen. Look, man, I really like Warhammer, and the cartoony style in that works really well there. But when I see an ostensibly like serious movie that has the massive shoulder pads, I'm like, okay, bud. That's
I think
just
you're just a hater. I think the
I am
armor's
just a
cool.
hater.
But I mean, there are some. I'll just let you cough and I'll keep talking. There are some chronology issues present in this movie that never really get addressed. It's it's very visually unclear when exactly it is this takes place, even though they specifically state that it's the centennial of the French Revolution, which means late 1800s, right? Like it takes place in 1899, but there's a couple like did they have white lab coats in 1899? Was that a thing?
1889. Sorry.
1889? My
I
what
don't
still.
know. For some reason, when I said that, when Christoph Waltz just like walks into the scene, I was thinking 60s, and I don't know why.
Right? Right. It does give a visual impression of being a little closer to the modern day. But then you go through the rest of the movie and it's very late 19th century France.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I Can I say something really stupid?
Sure. What why are you as if you had never mind.
Great comeback. We love it. Um, I had like a weird historical accuracy critique that I wanted to make, but I
Yeah,
don't
go for it.
but I don't know if I'm right. The only thing worse than being the guy in the film review who makes historical accuracy critiques is the guy who makes them and is wrong. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. The historical Vlad Dracul, at some point in his he was born, I think, Eastern Orthodox, but converted to Roman Catholicism at some point in his life. And in this movie, he's talking to a guy who's wearing the garb of like, well, he refers to him as Your Eminence, so he's presumably like a cardinal or like some other high-ranking member of the Catholic Church. But that would imply that this is like in a very brief period of time, like after he was released from prison, but like before he died in battle against. If we're like mapping this onto the historical Vlad the Impaler, this is a stupid thing to do. In part because the movie doesn't really spell it out, in part because I would need to go back through and reread to make sure my historical knowledge is on point. But that was just bugging me for the first 20 minutes of the movie, the fact that he was like Catholic when historically he wasn't for a good chunk of his life. Anyway, that's not related to the movie at all. I just
Wild nitpick. But that's what we're all about here at Neo-Isomorphism.
Yeah, so true, so true. Um oh, fuck, now I've got to check this.
Well, go do it. Go
Yeah, no,
on.
okay, he was held captive after losing a battle, and he was released. Yeah, Moldovan guy negotiated his release in the summer of 1475. He was repeatedly forced to convert to Roman Catholicism from Eastern Orthodoxy as part of the agreement for his release, and then he died in January of 1477. So like the first chunk of this movie has to take place in like 1476, basically specifically, early 1476. That's when he was fighting the Ottomans. Um, but it does not. This is not like a historical like failure. If anything, the fact that it's been about 400 years after 1476 or whatever, it makes sense. It's just I don't know, man. I this is a bad bit. This is a bad bit. We gotta move on.
Okay. Well, okay. So then there was the rest of the movie, and we've gone over that. This movie has a lot of like Dracula being Dracula, and then by being Dracula, he has sex with his wife, which is really cool.
But it's weird, nasty sex though. Like the first part of that movie. Look, this movie smells awful. Do you know what I'm saying? It's the fucking food on the face, man. That's what gets me.
Hey, whatever. If you're not down to like get nasty dirty, it's not for you, man.
Look, what you and your girlfriend do in your own time, that's your own business.
Some people have taste. Some people have taste.
Yeah, literal taste. You got the fucking food in your face.
I can't eat cake, so at least not baked in an oven.
What?
I have allergies, man. I can't eat.
Allergic to
cake.
What?
Eggs.
Oh. I didn't know this. I thought you were just.
No, it's not. It's not an insinuendo. It's not an innuendo in any way. I'm being incredibly serious. I will have horrible stomach issues if I eat regular cake.
I don't know, man. This movie smells awful. That's all I can say.
Yeah, they do have some pretty dirty, nasty sex.
I do like the men coming into his room. It's like, dude, we're under fucking attack. Like
I did like that a lot, and he's like, "Hang on, sorry guys, I'm busy doing my girl. You wouldn't get it." And they're just like you can tell in their faces, this is not the first time this has happened.
But mechanically, I'm confused because they're like violently humping, right? Like he's got her up against the wall. They're going at it, and then the men come into the room. And then he steps away, and we see that he's got his trousers on. And I'd have to go back and see, but I don't think he, like, pulled them up or anything. I think he just had them on, so he was just...
they might not have been having, like, intercourse sex. They could have just been, like, fuddling. They could have been in the middle of some intense foreplay.
But he was, like, violently humping, man. Like, I
don't know,
like
man.
there's...
Some people have taste.
But I feel like there's foreplay humping, and there's whatever he was doing, you know what I mean?
Hey, I'm not about a dude. This guy also stabbed a priest.
Well, yeah, but
I don't think
this
is the baseline for sexual behavior.
I don't think stabbing the priest was sexual in nature.
There was some serious penetration involved.
So true. Well, it was between two men, though, and as we know, that is a sin. So,
which is why the priest had to die.
So true. And why Dracula disintegrated into ash upon death.
Yeah, that's why God cursed him. It wasn't because he killed the priest and he forsook his name. It was because he had
vaguely
homosexual penetration with a priest. He and the reason he was saved at the end, the reason he was he redeemed himself because he was finally able to have
sex with a woman.
Straight consensual sex with his wife.
Yeah.
The way God intended.
That the most Christian thing you can do.
The most Christian thing you can do. Have sex with your wife.
Yeah. We've discovered the subtext.
We just buttoned up this movie.
Yeah. Actually, I think we unbuttoned it considering what happens in this, but
review over. We figured it out.
I do like the scene where he keeps trying to kill himself and he jumps out of his castle and then keeps walking back up and jumping out the window hoping to die. That felt like
I do like how it was he kept landing in what was obviously decently soft snow. So it's like a very reasonable thing to try again because maybe the snow just
But he did it like half a dozen times.
I know. More. I mean, honestly, maybe he was just having fun at that point.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of like sledding, you know?
Mm-hmm. Wait, how is that like sledding? You don't die at the end of sledding. What the fuck? No, that's not like sledding at all.
Dude, I've had to replace 2 toilets this weekend, man.
Oh my god. That's rough. That is really rough. Well, in other news, I just finished migrating and redoing all of the permissions on my media server.
You mean our
So
media
all
server? We're joint partners in this
I
venture. I'm
I
getting uppity. Now that I have an account of my own and I'm not using your public account, I'm getting uppity. I'm getting presumptuous.
you are getting presumptuous. It is still my media server.
Yeah, but I'm
I
like, it's like an
that's like
NFT.
saying
I
that's like
own
saying
the idea of it. I'm like I'm like an ideal
I
shareholder.
guess actually I was about to make a comparison in that it's like saying it's my Netflix, but it's I guess technically you have an account, which
Yeah,
makes
Big
that
Boy 5.
account that account is your own instance of my media server. So I guess when you say if you say my media server, then you're just referring to your account, which is a part of my media server.
Here, I'm gonna check what
So
I'm gonna check the movies that I have. I can add these to the media
you
server. I
should
can contribute. All right.
you have all of them.
No. I mean, I have movies saved to my own personal hard drive. I can add these to your media server. I got.
Oh, sure.
All right. I have The Ring of the Nibelungen. I, I have Wagner's Ring Cycle. Uh, I have the original Helsing, which we should watch at some point. I have Lord of the Rings, Blart Side of the Mall, and that's it. Dragon Ball
Wow.
Evolution, Aragon 2006, Now You See Me 2013, The Last Airbender 2010, and some bullshit Star Wars thing that I downloaded, a re-edit of the Kenobi
Oh my
show.
god. I know exactly what my next recommendation is going to be. Have you seen The Dark Crystal?
I've heard of it. Hold on.
Perfect. Okay,
Is that the
not next week,
Muppets?
but the week. Yeah, not next week, but the week after. We're watching The Dark Crystal, and that is a movie I would prefer that we watch together because it is. I shit you. I'm being so like unbelievably honest right now. That is a movie we would give like a 5 out of 5.
Beyond the Scale, yeah, or once
Yeah,
per.
that is a movie that might break the scale.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
I my but for context, the first time I saw this movie was with my girlfriend because it's one of her favorite movies, and it was in conjunction with we watched this movie, and then we watched the Guardians of Gahul, or the what the fuck is the owl movie?
Oh, the fucking yes, the fucking Guardians, Legend of the Guardians,
Yeah, the
the
Guardians
Owls of
of
Gahul.
Gahul,
Yeah,
which is also a fire movie. So it's just there. It's I don't know why it's so good. It's just this one off like owl movie of this random owl fantasy book had generational animation
it's
and
because do
story.
you know who directed that movie?
Who?
Zack Snyder.
Oh my god! It all makes sense. Yeah. So okay, I think I'm just gonna preload my next 2 recommendations. Then that's well, I think the podcast needs to these need to be part of the podcast.
All right, I'm excited, but do we want to talk about the movie that we have on the
Yeah.
docket
Let's
today?
circle back. Let's circle back.
Let's
Let's
synergize a new
let's take a
paradigm.
step back. Let's synergize the paradigm. Let's remorphize the ISO. Um. And I think how long has it been? It's been okay. I think we're ready to
I've been
segue
recording for
into the
31
second part.
minutes.
Perfect. Right at the halfway point. Ow! I just scratched my nose and it hurt. Um,
You, Jesus Christ!
I don't know. I think I pulled a hair. Yeah, I pulled a nose hair. That's
I
what
thought
it
you were
was.
gonna say I thought I pulled a
Um,
hamstring.
Well, yeah, I'm scratching it with my toes.
I mean, you're a
Um,
freak. I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, some people have taste.
The
I think
taste
that
is toes.
can that be the subtext for this episode in the
Some
Grinch
people have taste.
font?
Yeah, sure.
Some people have
No
taste.
wonder your media server is full of fucking Quentin Tarantino. The taste is toes.
Dude, I love Quentin Tarantino movies. I think I have
I thought you were gonna say I
all of
love
his
feet.
I think I have all of his meaningful ones.
Doesn't he only have like 10 movies?
He actually has I looked this up because I wanted to make sure I had all of them, and he has more movies than I thought he did. But again, like I said, the meaningful ones. From like Reservoir Dog to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That's all of
Which is
his
actually coming
movies.
out well from the range between those two.
Yeah, those
But he's
are.
coming out with a new one actually this year. And
Wasn't the whole
it's
bit
like
with Tarantino that the whole bit with him is he only wants to make 10 movies, so when people make top 10 lists of his movies, it's got all of them.
yeah.
I know he's written a bunch of movies, but he's only directed 8, and that's including all the Kill Bills.
Hmm. But there's only 2.
No, but Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair.
Oh. Oh, right.
Actually, no, he's directed 11, including all the Kill Bills. I don't know, man. This is
Isn't
not a good
that
bit. We should move on.
wait a second. The whole bloody affair is just isn't that just both movies?
It's Kill Bill Volume 1, Kill Bill Volume 2, and the whole bloody affair is. Oh no, the whole bloody affair is the entire thing. But there is also
Yeah,
there was also
'cause
the
it's
one that
just
directed. There was the one that premiered in Fortnite. I remember that.
Yeah, well, because the whole bloody affair is just movies 1 and 2. It's 4.5 hours long.
And then Yuki's Revenge was the extra one that only appeared in Fortnite.
Crazy. Anyways, vampires. So we saw this Dracula do some pretty cool stuff. He John Wicked all over these fools, and some of the moves that we saw him pull were vaguely supernatural in nature. And this has actually been some of the stuff that we saw. It has been of a similar vein to a lot of discussions in a lot of power scaling subreddits. Yeah,
I thought we were
we're
still
hard
talking about
power
like the
scaling.
themes of the movie.
No, we're done with the themes in the movie. We're power scaling Dracula now. Um, and so I'm definitely in one hard team. There's two sides to this, and I'm on one polar side, like staunchly. But some people believe that if a character is able to evade something going at a certain speed, it scales them up to that speed. Right? And so I disagree with this because there's the obvious factor of prediction, right? Like people can't dodge bullets, but people can like use situational awareness to move out of the way before they fire, right? That's how people dodge bullets. I'm pretty sure that's how Dracula dodged that point blank musket shot. However, if that is not the case and he just reacted to the bullet being fired and stepped out of the way, that scales this motherfucker up to like highly subsonic.
I want to interrupt you. I found the list of vampire traits in folklore and fiction archived. I'm gonna pin this to our messages. So this literally has list of vampire traits in folklore and fiction. It's a whole table. You should click on this.
Oh my
Um,
god.
yeah, and this doesn't just have like classical literature. This has like fucking Warhammer, Helsing. I think JoJo's in here. Trinity.
Well, JoJo vampires are a whole
Yeah,
different
JoJo
topic.
vampires are fucking yeah. Dwarf Fortress is in here. I mean, I see why they got rid of this from Wikipedia, but also what
Wait,
the
Bram
hell?
Stoker's original Dracula vampires didn't have shadows, so they just look like bad renders?
No, it's like that they don't cast shadows behind them, I think is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, so do they just look like bad
I think that they're
writers?
still like they themselves still have shadows like on the face. They're not like Fulbright. They're
Oh, okay. That's the picture I had in my head. Just
you thought
like a
they yeah.
Hawaii at noon, that one time of the year where the sun's perfectly overhead and nothing has a shadow.
Holy shit, they got GURPS in here. They got GURPS. We're power scaling GURPS vampires. Why?
Does it go? It looks like it's in chronological
I do
order.
like looking at the Helsing section. All of this, like the vampire weaknesses, are just like fatal, except for Alucard because he's built different.
Yeah, Alucard is just built different.
Oh my god, man, we should do like
Hotel Transylvania.
is that's in here?
Yeah, it's
Hold
near the
on, let me find
bottom.
it. Holy shit. Oh my god. This is a really long thing, so I can't. Yeah.
It is a really long list.
Well, it's like I see yes and no in these like columns, but I have to scroll really far to see what it is. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, hell yeah. What the fuck is the laundry files?
I don't know, man. But so I think just at a glance, I think we've both consumed a fair amount of vampire media because who hasn't,
You
right?
probably more
If
than
you
me, but
had
I think it's unavoidable, just like being
right,
in the
it is
culture.
generally unavoidable. If we were to scale this Dracula from top tier, I would say would probably be um uh Castlevania Dracula the show, because I can't off the top of my head think of a stronger Dracula.
Oh, we're specifically Dracula, not vampires as a
No,
whole.
not vampires, Dracula, right? Because like Castlevania Dracula does some crazy fucking shit.
I think the answer does lie in anime and Japanese stuff in general because their vampires tend to be more cracked. But
Okay, well, it is Castlevania is not an anime though. It's a cartoon, right?
uh,
Is
mm,
Castlevania a Japanese series?
the video game series, yes, is Japanese. I mean, I guess it's whatever Adi Shankar's thing is. I mispronounced his name in an earlier episode. We were talking about him because I'd only ever read it and I'd never actually pronounced it. Um, but
Okay.
look, I'm gonna call it an anime. You can disagree, and you know that's you can
Sure,
mull.
sure, sure,
You
sure,
can
sure.
mull.
Well,
Okay.
regardless, we're trying to gauge what the top tier Dracula is. Like, what on a scale of 1 to 10, what's a 10 out of 10 Dracula? And I think Castlevania Dracula is a pretty good example of that.
I feel like he's probably the strongest before you get into. So, are you familiar in what the power scaling community calls hacks?
Yes.
I feel like he's probably the strongest, like conventional Dracula. But if you
Yeah.
start adding in more bullshit, I feel like the crown actually goes to Helsing, Helsing's Alucard, which is Dracula. Um, Canonically, he just
Backwards.
calls himself different, calls himself something different. But his conventional powers include stealing the soul of anyone he kills and sending them out to fight for him. Um, and
Yeah. Well,
his hat is like by the
yeah.
end of the series he eats there's a Nazi cat boy that he eats and
This is
gains.
this is the Alucard in red with the glasses and the
This is the
hat.
Alucard that looks like, yes, like Dante, Devil May Cry, Caleb Blood. um
Yeah, he literally has two guns. Like, he's actually just Dante. He's Dante. He's Dante Devil May Cry wearing Roy's gloves from Full Metal Alchemist.
and his whole shtick is he eats the he ate out this Nazi cat boy and gains the power of basically just whenever he dies, he just says no and doesn't, and he can just he's everywhere. He's immortal. He's
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
sorts of bullshit.
All kinds of power scalers wet nightmare. One of the few arguably
Wet
high
nightmare.
A
That's a
ones.
new one.
I don't actually think I meant to say that, but it fits better with what we
Actually,
consume.
I just there's a strange jarring bit in Helsing, um, where he has a dream about Bruce Willis possessing the spirits of his guns. So honestly, I think it's on point for this episode. At
Wait,
the
Bruce
start,
Willis, like the guy you had a dream about?
yeah, like I think it's at the start of
What
episode
the
3 or 4.
fuck?
Alucard goes and kills a whole bunch of cops, and then he's just like sitting and just has a weird nightmare about like chibi Bruce Willis like talking to him, possessing his guns, and then wakes up. Hellsing is a very tonally jarring show if you
I need
watch
to
it,
watch
because it'll
this.
just have like hyper violence, and then it'll just end with like the strangest series of bits you've ever seen.
Hmm. It's all gonna go downhill when I start adding anime to the media server.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have, like I said, I have the original Hellsing. I don't have Ultimate save, but I have the original Hellsing saved.
Yeah.
Um,
I think anime is probably the one thing I won't ever really bother to put in there because anime has been one of the more consistent things that you can easily stream, like piracy wise.
there are more dedicated anime sites than yes.
Yeah. Crazy though. Okay, so I think we've established the high end of the scale, right? If we're doing traditional, good old blood and black vampire Dracula,
Does
I think
Twilight have Dracula in it?
I don't care.
I'm
Um
trying to think of like Western media, like Western Draculas to compare this against.
Yeah, but that's the high end of Dracula, right? That's
Yes.
the Castlevania Dracula is the high end of Dracula without hacks. And
Oh yeah.
this Dracula doesn't the Dracula from the movie we were discussing doesn't use Alucard level hacks, so we're gonna put him on that scale. Who's the
Yes.
low end? Who's the worst Dracula?
Probably the original Dracula from the novel or something around there, because his whole shtick is he needs like earth from his castle in order to like
This
stay
is true. He really
awake.
does bring dirt from Transylvania.
And like his whole shtick is that I mean, he's like physically stronger and has like vaguely defined superpowers, but he's kind of just like a dude still. Um,
Yeah.
Honestly,
What about
of like the classic Draculas, I think Nosferatu is probably like the stronger one. I think the original book
yes.
Dracula is just kind of like a dude who's a freak.
Mhm. Okay, what about I've only seen the movie, so I don't know about the show. But what about what they do in the shadows? Is Dracula ever does he ever show up in there?
I have watched, I think, a combined like 25 minutes of What We Do in the Shadows, and I don't remember if it was the movie or the show, so I'm not the person to ask
Okay,
about this.
because in the movie the vampires are like they're notably supernatural, but they're not necessarily like physical forces to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I think that that's sort of because here's the thing: like the Dracula in this movie, he's a strong fighter, but he also has a lot of like what we might call like utility stuff. Because he's like
Yes.
closing doors, he's like shoving plates across the table, doing a bunch of stuff,
Yeah,
and he has like
basic
the
telekinesis.
but he never uses the telekinesis in combat really, because at that
Right.
point he would just be like fucking Darth Vader. Um,
Hmm.
so I think that, and I mean, some of it might just be he's also just cracked beforehand. Because again, when he had no supernatural powers at all in this movie, he was
He
like
did take
trying to
down like
save
three
his wife.
librarians.
He like
Yeah.
cut down the guy, picked up his sword, threw it overhand, and impaled the guy trying to stab his wife,
Yeah.
which is kind of
So
crazy.
already pretty based dude in general. Right? Like if there's two things that qualify you as a man, it's fucking your wife and fighting for your country.
Preferably both at the same
And
time.
this guy met both of those with yeah, at the same time, passed with flying colors.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this Dracula, I think, is definitely one of the most skilled in hand-to-hand combat that we've seen. But I think that could be an indicator of a weakness in the natural area, right?
He
We've
never
also
uses it in
seen that
combat, yeah.
he never uses it in combat, and his compulsion is notably not supernatural in this movie.
Yes.
We've seen people resist it. That one nun resisted it, and in theory, if you just plug your fucking nose and hold your breath, then you should be able to resist it because it is just a perfume.
That's how the Purple Man
Um,
works in Marvel Comics, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
I don't know, I've never read
and
a
Five
comic
Nights at
book.
Freddy's too.
Yeah.
But I think I did like that as a mechanic in this movie because it allowed for a bit more of a visual element that the audience can understand for when the compulsion is happening and a or sort of reason as to why it's happening. Because I like the usage of immortality in this movie, and this happens. You see this a lot with vampires, specifically Dracula. You also kind of see this with the Castlevania Dracula, but part of their skill and abilities comes from their immortality, not because they're immortal, but because they've just had such a long time to study, research, experiment, and learn. Because I think there is a human society is based on passing knowledge down generation to generation, but it's basically impossible to do that completely losslessly, right? There are a couple skilled tradespeople that probably died like a couple weeks ago, and their specific technique for the trade that they do will never be seen in hundreds of years until somebody maybe just comes up with it again, right? And so
Like I like the idea of having a Shonen Jump like battle manga, but it's for like electricians trying to compete to see who can who can work for the longest without dropping.
I feel like that's a thing. That there's I feel like there's definitely been a Korean one-shot comic
Oh,
of that.
100%. But
Um, but yeah, and so I always like it when media that uses Dracula or features Dracula plays into that idea of this dude's been around for 400 years and he's been fucking busy, right?
put Dracula in the
He figured
hyperbolic
out
time
magic
chamber for a couple of weeks, and like he's
and
gonna
he
come out
solos
swinging.
Goku. Yeah. Right? Uh, I am I yeah, I so I'm a big fan of that, and I like how the justification for his, supernatural compulsion ability was literally, "I spent 100 fucking years perfecting the science of perfume, and I did it. I did it. I have perfect perfume."
While while you were busy having premarital sex, I was studying the
Yeah.
blade.
Yeah, literally.
The blade being this little spritzing. I know that you said the perfume is nice because we get a visual for like when he's using his compulsion, but I think it would have been cooler if it was a power he could do and he just had like a little like a he did like a little sexy dance and then that's what got people to flock to him. He does like the he does
Jesus
the Dame tu
Christ.
Casita like little green alien or with the Dusk Call one. He starts like hip gyrating real quick.
Oh my god. But he starts hip gyrating and it badly rotoscopes him just into the scene. It unrenders him and then re-rotoscopes him on top of him,
It's
in
like
in the scene.
when they clearly use like CGI models for like
Yeah.
Spider-Man swinging around. They just do that with him, but he's doing a little
It just
jig.
so something extremely doable by a regular person, but the actor couldn't be bothered, so they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to
Hey, I
CGI it
mean,
in.
look,
Just like Fire.
Blade Trinity, another vampire movie. They famously CGI'd his eyes to open in the final scene.
There was there was only ever one Blade movie.
Blade Two was
We
like
don't talk
Blade Two was all right. It wasn't great,
we
but
don't talk about the rest of the Blade movies.
it was a
None of the
Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman and other famous people were in that movie, and it was surprisingly mid.
the first Blade movie? I thought
No,
the
no, no,
first
no.
Blade movie
Blade
was
Two.
all
The
right.
first Blade movie was
Okay.
actually good.
Yeah, the
Um,
first Blade movie was fantastic.
I do look at her audio tracks sometimes, and I do find that mine has a lot more white than yours. And I'm like, man, I really do. I do talk too much because I can like zoom out to the whole thing and see it. And I'm like, man, there's a lot of there's a like a 5 minute period where there's no sound on your track.
Oh my god. I don't know, I think we've actually been pretty back and forth with this one so far.
We've been doing better recently. It was mainly the earlier episodes where
Oh, well, yeah, the earlier episodes were just like bad media slop fest where you spoke for an hour. Now it's bad media slop fest where you have an entertaining discussion.
did I tell you about like last week someone I knew just looked me very kindly in the eyes and said, "Has anyone ever told you that you do great villain monologues?"
Yeah, you did tell me about this because you do. When you get on something, especially if it's something I'm not even gonna say if it's something you're passionate about. It's just if there's a topic you feel any kind of negative emotion towards, you go off.
I'm passionate about everything, man.
I never stop talking. I hate everything.
Do you remember that one time when Nick just like compared me to the Unabomber in front of like a
Yes,
dozen strangers?
yes. This is while we were effectively still strangers as well.
Yeah,
To
this
to
this was
to
this was
really
early. This
make
was
it better.
before we really knew each other.
Mhm.
This is
Wild.
normally I
That
censor
was
names when we talk about people, but I think in one of the earlier episodes we talked about Nick and I left it in. So I'm just gonna leave it in, and Nick is just gonna be like a recurring character throughout the
yeah.
podcast.
I hope he listens to this.
I
We should 100 subscriber special. We get him on as a guest.
he's that's also going to dox us because he's actually known. We can't give any more
No,
details about this man and how like
that's
this.
fine. We'll just call him Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I think his
We
voice is
just like
also
if we
recorded.
because
Is the
okay,
problem?
well, nobody's gonna. It's fine. Um, think about it though. If
And with that silence, we are back. We're cutting the whole, however long that was. What the fuck were we talking about? We're power scaling this
yeah, like
Dracula.
Wayne's World, SNL, Mike Myers.
Yes, that Mike Myers.
Okay, that's where we come back in.
Yeah, and we're gonna
Like,
get
there's
him
just a
on the
long
podcast because I
pause.
know a
Yeah, we're
guy who
gonna
knows
get
a guy.
yeah, we're gonna get Mike Myers on the podcast. I wonder if we could get Brad Pitt.
Um,
My dad knows Brad Pitt. Well, that's a gross exaggeration of my father's relationship with Brad Pitt.
yeah, because Hulk Hogan is like, he was billed at like 6'7" or something like that, but he was pretty tall in general,
Hmm.
and that's where we're entering the episode again.
Yeah,
Okay,
we could talk.
scaling this Dracula.
So okay, but did we ever agree on who like bottom tier level 1 Dracula was?
I was thinking the original Dracula from the book,
Okay, sure,
like
sure, sure.
vaguely
So
supernatural.
like a feet merchant.
You
No, no,
probably
no, no,
mean
no.
feet
Wait, wait. Book,
FEAT,
book,
but I'm thinking
Dracula
FEET.
is a book. Dracula is a statement merchant. We don't see him do shit.
Power scalers need to be shot, man. The lingo they come up with is too good.
It's too good, dude. Hey, well, actually, no, dude. Original book Dracula, potential merchant. Let's be so for real.
Fuck
We don't see
off.
him do. We don't see him do shit. He potentially could. Shut the fuck up.
You know how they say, like, they got, like, building tier and stuff like that? Dracula's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
castle tier because he cannot be defeated when inside of his castle.
Holy shit. Oh my god, that's so. He scales to his castle.
Yes.
No, okay. I think.
It's his lair. He
I,
gets lair actions. I mean, it makes
okay,
sense.
if we're using these kinds of terms, the movie that we watched, that Dracula, wall tier.
Yeah, I mean, he's not, like, strong. He's just, like, a
He's definitely
good
he's not
fighter.
street level, right? He's not street tier. Deku would still floor this guy.
Yeah, does he ever get beaten while
Um,
on a street in this movie? I don't think he does.
no, but he does stand on streets, which does mean that Deku floors him.
Well, the street tier is different from floor tier. Floor tier, I feel like, should be more powerful than street tier because all streets are floors, but not all floors are streets. You know what I'm saying?
Kill yourself.
The distance really makes that, I think.
Oh my. Let's see. Well, I mean, as any good power scaler knows, Deku from My Hero Academia can't lose if he's fighting somebody on a street, but he will always lose if they're not on a street because Deku is the ultimate street tier.
I've never watched My Hero Academia. I just know those
Neither have
names.
My entire knowledge of that anime comes from power scaling subreddits, which means I think it's bad.
Did I ever show you my power scaling world leaders? Like,
I yeah, I think I think he did. I think he did. Okay, so but let's pull it back. Let's pull it back. We agree Dracula's street here. Um, where on a scale from like 1 to 10, 1 being book Dracula, 10 being Castlevania, where do we want to put this guy? I'm thinking
Like a
ballpark.
2.
I was gonna say like 2 or 3.
I feel like the thing is he has more supernatural powers than like some versions of Dracula, but he doesn't
Right.
really use them in combat.
Sure.
He
I would argue that his compulsion ability is stronger than what
yes,
we
that's
see
probably the
in most
strongest.
Draculas. Right. So I think that bumps him up to at least a 3 because he doesn't use it in combat, and I think it can be assumed that that's an inherent flaw with his specific like the nature of his persuasion, which is the fact that it's a perfume, and maybe people in, like, a battle frenzy or something can ignore it better because of the hormones and endorphins or whatever. I don't know. It's like the argument that I could be any living human if I'm bloodlusted enough.
Yeah, the every man thinks that if they just enter berserker rage, they can beat anyone. I mean, there is
Yeah.
something to be said for if you're willing to, if you're in a fight and, someone is thinking, this is like a fisticuffs tier thing, and you're thinking this is a bite the guy's ear off, gouge his eyes out sort of fight. Like, if you're
Yeah,
willing
if
to
one guy's
commit,
like, "This is a fight," and you're like, "I'm going to die," then it's very different.
if you're willing to commit to a higher, like, level of violence than other people, then you could, in theory, do some real work there. But if they are bigger or better trained than you, and then they see that you're moving up to that new level, then they're just gonna, clap back and they're gonna hit back a lot
Yeah,
harder.
right, but see, what they don't have is I'll do it faster than them.
Oh, you count your Count Chocula from. That was some crazy multitasking there. Um, all right, I'm gonna say 2 just because I feel like he has no real supernatural combat abilities just besides being like generically a bit strong and a good fighter.
Mhm. Well,
And
that's the thing though too, because like I think we've seen he has supernatural strength, but also regular Draculas aren't like terrible. I don't think that like often shown to be terribly proficient in hand-to-hand combat, which this guy very much so is.
I don't know.
I don't think I could go as low as a 2. I would argue 3, but I would settle for 2.5.
Sure, we'll do 2-5. That way nobody's happy.
Okay.
The sign of a good compromise.
That's neo-isomorphism, ladies and
We
gentlemen.
really didn't talk too much about this movie. I just want to say I feel like this movie was derivative of the Francis Ford Coppola Dracula, which I also did not particularly like, but this one is just doing sappy romance poorly, and the best parts of the movie are the ones where Dracula and Elizabeth are not together. That's just what I
Sure.
wanted to say, just because I don't think I really got it off my chest why I don't like this movie.
Crazy. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, I know that Dracula is your self-insert, and that's the whole thing we're doing here. But
He's literally me.
yeah. Um, all right, do you want to rank this?
Oh, I didn't realize that like Dracula's white wig scrunchy face thing was a frequently used thing.
Yeah, they also do that in the other Dracula. They
Yeah.
give him weird fucked up makeup.
Huh. Cool. All right, yeah, let's rank this bitch.
All right, so do you want to explain our scale, our new and improved scale?
Sure. Oh my goodness, you're right. We do have a new and improved
Let's say that
scale. So
whoever
building off,
recommends it is the one that does the scale for that episode, just so
yeah,
we
that
keep
makes
don't
sense. That
going
makes
back and
sense.
forth.
Um, So, since I'm just going to assume everybody's familiar with it at this point, you have the standard neo-isomorphic scale, right? You've got your 1 to 4 on how neo-isomorphic a piece of media is, and then your -1 to -4 on how relatable that piece of media is. You put those two together, you get a single number, and there you go. There's your final score. The closer that final score is to 0, the not necessarily the better the media is, but that's the better place on the the scale. It's like if you're in a Nazi contest and you win, like congrats, you're a great Nazi. That doesn't make you a better person. That's kind of how our scale works. However, we've recently added an addendum to it, a little suffix, a little appendix, a little PS at the end of the letter, should you say?
They used to
Because
call me
we
postscript
realized
back in college
they used to call me postscript because I was always second
because you got the
choice.
PP. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Um,
Listen, editor, cut that. Hold on, let me
editor
just
cut
scream
that.
into my microphone real quick so I know how to cut this.
Hang on, let me there.
Can you do that again? I didn't get a chance to finish. We're repeating the bit. It's a great bit. I gotta send you a gif of like the opening scene where they're like wearing the same shirt and like tumbling around in the bed, and just I'm just gonna send that to you and just say me and who. I'm gonna do it at like 3:45 a.m.
You dog. Um, but yeah, so we added a little extra piece to our scale because we realized there's somewhere where it was falling behind. Because on this show, we reviewed some truly garbage media, and that's that's probably most of what we talk about,
We're not prepared to
right?
review
It's
things that are
just
actually good.
right, and so we hit a bit of a road bump when last week we talked about these peak cinema that is Ron, the movie, and we were like, wow, we don't really know what to do with this because we gave it a pretty mediocre score on the Neo-Isomorphism scale, but we felt like just giving it that wasn't doing the movie justice. So we added a separate axis, completely separate from the four square chart that we're currently using, and it's peak or squeak, and it goes from negative 100 squeak to 100 peak,
There's
because 0 to 100 is
200%. 200%
too
more
easy.
peak or squeak per unit peak or
Yeah,
squeak.
yeah, it literally gives you more to work with, which is what we're all about here
It
at Slime Dog Industries.
Slumdog Productions. It's really a
Can we actually sidebar
yeah,
and keep this in?
yeah.
Have you heard? So I think we should I think we should make a startup.
Okay.
I think we should make an unironic. I'm being dead serious.
Like an
We should
LLC.
like an LSC, and I've got a couple friends that I think I could convince to join us. And no, we're gonna make a real product. And I have these. I'm bringing these friends in because they're experts in the specific field. And I read a BBC paper last week on this fungus that they found in Chernobyl
Okay.
that just has a shit ton of melanin in it, and it's right. Hear me out.
Finish your thought.
And they think it's because of these elevated melanin levels that it's really, really good at absorbing radiation. Like it blocks radiation, like exceptionally well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make we're gonna make a corporation. We're gonna make a company, and we're gonna call it Slime Dog Industries. And we're gonna grow this fungus and turn it into manufacturable, like sellable panels. So we're making lightweight, radiation-proof panels for spacecrafts.
Okay.
That's that's the pitch.
I'm gonna be honest. When you started that sentence, I had maybe like 7 different ideas of where it was gonna end up, and this was not one of them. Um,
Yeah, that's the pitch. We sell dirt to billionaires and profit.
hell yeah, bro. Not just dirt, black dirt.
Black dirt. Black literally, the mold is a dark
What the
black
fuck just
green,
happened to your
and
mic?
I think my computer went to sleep and I think it got confused.
I'd
Um,
say it got a little bit confused.
yeah, so it's black because it's dark, but it's also black because it has incredible melanin
Yeah,
level.
that's where I thought we were gonna end up with, like pills that make you black was the pitch that we were gonna end up with here. And before that, I thought it was going to be like you said it grows in Chernobyl. I thought we were just gonna be stalkers and go to like I said, there are many ways that I thought you were going to end that idea, and this is. Look, man, I have no idea if this is viable, but my goal is I want to start out with like I want to start out with however much stock I can, and then once we start artificially inflating our valuation, I'm just gonna sell and just never look back.
Fair. I that's also probably what I was gonna do. Well, because the strat is
We're gonna leave your
we
two
hire.
unnamed friends holding the bag.
Yeah, well, I mean, well, think about it, right? Right, we get some like some uh, West Coast tech school grad
Oh,
to
like Stanford.
yeah, we get like a Stanford business. But so we're gonna get like crazy funding, right? And then we're gonna do employee stock options, right? And then this is while we're still private, and we're gonna file for IPO, go public, watch the stock price skyrocket when we lie about our earnings, and then sell the options for billions of dollars, dump the company on this guy, make him the CEO, and then leave.
Yeah, leave him with a pair of concrete shoes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's the plan. That's the business pitch.
Um, I think this is a dog shit idea, and I think you should burn in hell. I don't really have
So you're
any.
gonna help me with it.
Do you want to rate this movie?
Yeah. I explained the score peakers. Okay. Uh, Neo-Isomorphic 1 to 4.
Well, based on the whole like sidebar that we just had, let me guess what I think you're gonna say for this, and I think you're gonna say 3.
I wasn't even gonna go that high.
Okay, good, because I was going to do. Okay, here's the thing. This is a movie about love, which automatically, like, I'd say excludes it from getting a 4, because that's just not a very neo-isomorphist idea.
Okay.
Dracula's just talking about, oh yeah, I've lived hundreds of years without love. Nobody loves me, and I'm like, yeah, nobody loves me either. Shut the fuck up, man. Get a job. On the other hand, it does have there are some dudes with big shoulder pauldrons, and I think that's pretty neo-isomorphist. So I
I
could
agree.
survive with like a 2, but I don't know, man. This is a difficult one.
I think I'm okay. My initial thought was a 2.
Okay, I can settle for that. How
All right.
relatable is this? I feel like we're gonna get very
Well,
different answers on this one.
see, Dracula is my self-insert, so that's literally me in the movie. So
Yeah,
that's got to be a 4.
you have sent me like a photo of yourself with your face smeared with like cream and berries and shit. So I mean,
Mhm.
also by the way, please stop doing that. I'm gonna say
Yeah, as soon as you stop sending me pictures of Dracula and Elizabetta it rolled up together in the sheets at 3 in the morning, going, "Me and who?"
you're Elizabeth. We know that, right?
Yeah. No, wait, no. Shit.
He agreed. He agreed to it. You heard it here, folks. It's on audio. It's on the
Oh my
air.
god.
All right. For the bit, I gotta go 1. Fuck, man. I don't know. I feel like the scale that we have isn't really applicable to this one, at least to me.
That's kind of the hard part that I'm having with it.
Like, fucking. I don't care. Put whatever you want.
I don't care, whatever.
Roll a d4 and just we'll pick that one.
Deal. I
I
got my
know
phone
I know
out.
you have a d. I know you have fucking D&D
All
dice
right,
near you at all times.
3.
3? Sure. Fuck. Why not?
All right, 3 for a total -3 for a total of -1.
On
Here we
this
go.
on
Locked
the
and loaded.
peak to squeak scale, I
Honestly, I would be happy if this got anything above like a 20.
20% peak. I was gonna say
Yeah.
like negative like 30% squeak.
Jesus.
I did not like this movie. I've made that clear.
Can we settle on like a 1 peak? That's like roughly
Sure.
middling, but not bad.
5.0001. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, like a 5.0001 out of 10. Sure. By this I can abide.
Okay. I can live with that. Wait, if we gave something a 0 on the
No,
Neo-Isomorphic
we
scale,
can't do
also a
this. We can't.
0 on
We,
the
we
Peek and
can't. We
Squeak.
can't continue this bit. The peek and squeak has to just be how much we actually like it.
Oh, okay.
We have to.
Well, it should be, right? But in
Yeah.
the rare case, like if something gets like a 2 and a 2 and a 0 on the Peek and Squeak,
Then
that's the
what? We do
perfect
like a
piece of
little
media.
jig, like.
We delete the channel.
It's like the
we,
DVD.
s-
Have you seen the? It's like the
we
fucking DVD hits
all
the
of the
corner of the
episodes.
screen and the TV just turns off.
Yes. It's that. Yeah. No, if we perfectly zero something, you delete the channel, delete all the files from your computer, and we never speak again.
I'll do you one better. If we do the beyond the scale on both axes thing, where we give it a 0 and a 0, so it's actually at the origin on our little graph, and then we give it a
Yeah.
0, then we'll do that.
Okay. Deal.
This is a bad.
You know,
Most
and
of our
just to,
podcast episodes are just us coming up with future bits for the
yeah,
podcast.
eventually one of them will happen.
Eventually, I
And then
guess.
but hear me out, right? If we give something a 5 and a 5
Mm,
and a 100 on the peak,
yeah.
whoever recommended that gives the other no, whoever didn't recommend it gives the recommender $100. I hate that. I'm gonna install an LLM on my computer that's just running 24/7 that finds progressively shittier GIFs every day, DMs them to you at a random interval between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. and just says me and who.
I mean, did I show you my Beans bot?
I don't think so.
I made a bot for Discord like during COVID. It was for some friends of mine and I. We were in the same server, and it was just on a timer where it would randomly ping at everyone with a photo of like a desktop computer that was filled with beans. Um, but the thing was, the timer was on. It was a long timer. It was on average like gonna be like once or twice per month because you don't want to
Oh my
overdo
god.
it, right? You just want to get
Yeah.
them while they're vulnerable, while they're not expecting it, and it was just at a random time, like 7:37 in the PM on a Tuesday, on a Tuesday in June. It would just send them the photo of beans.
That's great. I'm a big fan of that.
The original was it would just DM it to them, but then they blocked the bot. So
Oh.
anyway,
Okay.
this is
There we go.
we're really just kind of petering out right now.
I think that's the show.
Yeah. Well, what are we gonna do next week? Oh wait, no, it's me.
I don't know. What are we gonna do
Wait, no, it's
next
me.
week?
Okay, yeah, I've been going back and forth between a couple different ones. Um, I have been Shyamalan maxing a little bit recently because I watched Split with some friends, and then I went back and watched Unbreakable as well. And I was considering doing some Shyamalan. Either I was thinking of Signs, maybe The Village. We could do The Happening or The Last Airbender, but those are like actually really well covered movies, and I feel like we don't have a lot to say. The Happening is a
Mhm.
hilarious movie, though. We should watch that at some point. But I kind of feel like I don't want to, blow my load on movies that people have actually covered. I don't want to blow us. Wait, no, wait, fuck. I need to find a different word other than blow. I don't want to. I don't want to waste, like an actually like well talked about and popular movie on this show. So I was
Sure.
thinking,
Sure.
and what I'm thinking, all right, because you made me watch a movie that I didn't like. I'm gonna make you watch a movie that you're not gonna like. We're gonna watch The Love Guru, starring Mike Myers, um, and that's the show.
What?
The
What
Love
is
Guru,
this movie?
starring Mike Myers.
Bold of you to assume I'm not gonna like this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, kids.
Uh, fuck. Drive safe.
Eat.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not ending the recording until you say it.
Fine. Eat your fucking vegetables.
There we go.